guys, what's going on? Another AP Sports podcast, and today I'm here with Archer. We're going to be talking a little bit about the NFL. I know we've been talking about the NBA a lot lately. But first, some news broke today about Patrick Mahomes and his 10-year contract.
Big news.
So I
It's
guess we'll
kind of
get started
crazy.
off there. 10 years is the biggest one that I've – like, in recent memory, that's the biggest one at least. All the top paid guys now are from the top, like, last 3 seasons, I'm pretty sure. And all of them are either in between 4 and 6 years. And so this is actually kind of a big deal. 10 years.
Damn, that was a nice sneeze. All right, yeah. I think it's just changing, Like everything about the NFL, I mean, we're gonna have a lockout sooner rather than later. But
yeah,
I think that right now the amount of money that is projected to be lost, there's a lot of money problems, I think.
well,
I don't know I think the Chiefs could have waited. I don't know. I think maybe
I don't think they should have waited. The thing that the Chiefs did, though, that was really smart. So the salary cap in recent years has just been going up a ton, which is why all the new players have been given the highest contracts or whatever. But if the salary cap remains the same or goes up higher or goes down, what I was reading is that it's rumored that Patrick Mahomes' contract is based off of a percentage of the salary cap rather than actual numbers.
Ooh.
So
I see that.
I saw that on CBS. I'm pretty sure Adam Schefter said something about it. But he was like, it's going to be based on a percentage of the Chiefs' salary cap, not necessarily written in stone numbers.
That
So
is really smart. That way they can keep it. They can keep it balanced that way too. They don't have to exactly be worried about Patrick Mahomes. He's taken. I mean, he's going to be taking a big chunk of it, but they don't have to be like, all right, well, there's $50 million, dump down the drain. Where they can actually kind of see it more as all right, Patrick Mahomes has this percent. Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, all their weapons, they can line them up perfectly.
Yeah,
that's a little bit of an easier process.
I thought that was a really good move by his agent as well as the Chiefs. It just makes sense for both parties, especially with the deal that long, with the NFL kind of the uncertainty of the amount of money each team's going to have. I mean, that's a good deal from both sides.
I agree. I definitely think that the biggest thing here is that there's only been 4 other quarterbacks in NFL history to get their contract before their 4th year of play. Mm-hmm. I mean, he was sat behind Alex Smith, then he had his MVP season, and then he won a Super Bowl. I mean, right now he's on track to become one of the greatest of all time. I mean, he's not even done with his rookie contract, and he's won an MVP and a Super Bowl MVP. I mean, where he's going right now is some legendary Tom Brady type stuff. It's going to – I'm really excited to see it happen. I was a big skeptic of Patrick Mahomes. If you want to look down the line 2 years ago on the pod, I was watching our first episode ever the other day. I was talking some serious smack about Patrick Mahomes. That would be shamed upon nowadays.
Yeah.
This contract's going to give him – ooh, voice crack. This contract's going to give him a little bit more – not confidence per se, but I definitely think he's going to feel a little bit more as a team player, When you're on your rookie contract, You're kind of playing so you can keep your contract for you. I feel like now that he's got this, he might even be a little bit better just from a mental standpoint,
I agree with that. The only thing I will say is I feel like teams used to give out these bigger contracts. I would say the example that drove them away is definitely the 10-year Drew Bledsoe contract. The Patriots kind of got stuck in that while Tom Brady kind of came out. So that's kind of why they've declined, but I guess the Chiefs are going back to it. I think honestly, being an NFL fan, I wasn't even alive when they gave that in 2001. So this was the biggest contract lengthwise I've ever seen, and I'm sure money-wise too.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's up there with Russell Wilson's $40 million a year. I mean, it's crazy. Unless the salary cap percentage thing you were talking about changes that.
Yeah, regardless, the Chiefs said he's going to be the highest paid player in league history is what they said.
Yeah, right now he should be. I mean, there's obviously guys that you can talk about and maybe debate, but right now the best quarterback in the league if you look at every standpoint is Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. But yeah, that's kind of it for Mahomes. I mean, I would say the only issue with the Chiefs is how are they going to lock these guys up in the future. I feel like Tyreek Hill, honestly, he's a great player. I feel like he's decently expendable just because, I mean, there are a lot of guys there similar to his stature that, I mean, they may not have as good hands, but they can get there. Like Deontay Harris would be a guy.
Mm.
They're similar size, but similar speed as well.
Yeah,
Um,
I
I
don't think you
think
can
he's
call
decently
him
not
ex.
expendable,
Yeah,
but if they have to pay him too much, I wouldn't sweat taking a slight downgrade there just because Mahomes is so good.
yeah, I
Um,
agree with that. Just expendable might not be the right word.
yeah, not expendable because he's a very valuable part of that team. But
He's
there are other guys
replaceable.
out there. Yeah, there are other
You
guys
can
out there
replace.
that they could get. I love Tyreek Hill. He's super fast, super quick. I don't love Tyreek Hill just because
I was about to say he's
yeah
got some
he's
Adrian Peterson genes in there. You know,
yeah
he
I
just
don't know if that's someone I necessarily want to love at this point as a player or a person. But I I feel like Cooks, Deontay Harris, there are just a couple guys out there that you could replace him with, and I feel like the Chiefs wouldn't really lag behind too much.
yeah,
Um,
I agree with that.
but yeah, I feel like Kelsey's a weapon that honestly he's a great weapon to have. But again, if you downgrade that position, I still think Mahomes can make something out of it. Honestly,
I
I
think
will say
that
one thing.
I
The
think
one thing.
Mahomes can do something. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, no, I think the one thing the Chiefs need to invest in on offense though is definitely offensive line. Because if you're going to pay him that much, you got to keep him protected.
Yeah. I think Kelsey's definitely the most important weapon he
Mm-hmm.
has. A lot of people kind of talk about Patrick Mahomes as a product of his weapons, which doesn't really make sense to me because you look at it, he doesn't really have. I mean, he has good players, but I mean, there's other quarterbacks with better players around them. And I mean, McCole Hardman's good. Demarcus Robinson is pretty good. Definitely not Pro Bowl guys though. They're fast. They run their routes, but I mean, you cannot call him a product of his weapons when you have people like who's another quarterback that just has a ton of people around him, like maybe Matt Ryan. I mean, Calvin Ridley is, I think, is super underrated. Plus
And
Julio Jones.
Julio and Austin Hooper.
I
But
mean, he's
then
I
again, the Falcons have one of the worst offensive lines. I think if you're
yeah
going to invest in anyone, if you're the Chiefs, it's the offensive line.
yeah. I think right now the Chiefs just kind of need to not copy last year, but I think that they should kind of roll with what they did last year. Kind
Yeah,
of, I mean, they have these guys locked up till. I mean, the only guy that they're going to lose possibly is Chris Jones, just because he's going to be a free agent next year.
yeah,
But I mean, right now, just kind of roll with what you did. I mean, it worked,
yeah.
and
I would.
Patrick Mahomes obviously has the chance to even be better than last year. I don't think that the biggest thing is the future for them right
Yeah,
now is they're pretty much the best team in the league.
I would agree with that. I would. They're the best offense by a pretty significant margin,
Yeah.
for sure. Um, team overall, I'm not entirely sure, but their offense just carries them the whole way through.
Yeah.
Um, I would say that if they could get guys like, did they have Terrell Suggs? I know they had him at one point.
I
I
don't
think
know.
they
I
did
know.
sign him towards the end of last year, but if they could get guys like him on the veteran minimum that don't really have a lot to prove, but are still going to be smart, good defensive players, I feel like
Yeah.
that'd be really advantageous for them because they don't have to pay him as much because they clearly are investing in Mahomes and their offense. But if they can get some more experienced guys instead of relying on like rookies to show up, I feel like they need a balance of rookies they can pay less as well as some older guys.
Yeah, they need some vets for locker room presence too. I mean,
Yeah. I feel like Mahomes honestly is a good locker room presence at this point. I
I
don't even
mean,
know.
it's definitely not a bad one, but you do. He is on his. This was his third year in the league. I mean, trust me, he's great. He won a Super Bowl. He has won MVP. But I do think it is one of the most important things is to have those guys that know what it's like to have a long career. I mean, if you think about it, a lot of these guys are fighting to stay in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Like they want a long career. They want the bag. I mean, Mahomes obviously got it. There's more than one person on a 52-man roster. So
53.
53. Well, take away one, the veteran 52. Other anyways, I do think that a veteran presence is kind of needed. They need
Yeah.
at least a defensive guy.
Yeah, they definitely need a defensive leader. But I guess one guy, this is no way, shape, or form. I'm not calling Joe Flacco Patrick Mahomes, but just seeing Patrick Mahomes this year reminded me of that Joe Flacco Super Bowl run. Granted, Patrick Mahomes is a lot younger, a lot better.
A lot more athletic.
Yeah, just significantly better in about every way. But just the way Joe Flacco and Jacoby Jones kind of went about it reminds me of Tyreek Hill and Mahomes a little bit. I'm not saying they pull it
Yeah.
all, but
I don't know if I'd compare those two teams. I think they're legitimately
no,
opposite.
Ravens. I feel like if you watch them during that playoff run, the Ravens were down in like almost every game they played outside of the one in the Super Bowl.
Which Ravens team? Are we talking
The one that
about
won the Super Bowl
in the
against the
49ers?
yeah,
Okay.
that was the only game they were up. And I mean, they just had a ton of deep touchdowns. I don't know. It just reminded me of them watching them this year. Of course, Mahomes can be a lot better for a different team. I just thought I'd bring that up. They're in no way comparable outside of their playoff runs.
Okay. All right. If we want to go ahead and move on
Let's
to
definitely move on
another
to Cam. This is
another quarterback in the AFC, Cam Newton.
he's
Definitely.
gonna. Oh yeah, I guess he's in the AFC now. I'm so used to him being NFC South.
Yeah. Switching it up now. A lot of stuff has gone down with Cam Newton the past year. Biggest thing for me is his injury history. I mean, he was banged up all year. I do think a lot of that is to blame on the Panthers training staff. But I mean, it's hard to come back. I mean, played 2 games and then had an awful he was so bad week 2. Then he sat out and never came back.
Yeah,
Definitely banged up.
yeah, for sure. One thing that I would add is in his last 8 games, since I don't know if you remember this hit, but TJ Watt hit him like straight in the shoulder.
Was
And
that a
like
sack?
2 years ago. I think it was either a
Yeah,
fumble or he was getting
I don't
rid of the
remember it.
ball.
Yeah.
It was a Monday night football game. I'm pretty sure we texted about it, but he got absolutely destroyed by TJ Watt. And since then, he's been 0-8. The longest pass in a couple of these games. I was looking over the games, and in one game he had the longest pass he threw was like 17 yards. And it's just like
God.
the shoulder strength has not been there for him, and that's even since he had the 2 shoulder surgeries. I think this is honestly because he played 6 games after that Steelers game, proceeded to lose all of them and be incredibly inaccurate, and the Panthers didn't pull him. So he's clearly really tough. He's going to play hard for you, but unless this shoulder heals, I mean, all signs, at least that he said, is it's healed and now it's the foot. But honestly, I don't think the foot injury is that big a deal. I think he's just taking more time off to recoup from this shoulder. I don't think the foot's as big a deal because even when he had that shoulder injury, his rushing stats were significantly worse just because he was scared to get hit.
Yeah, I mean, everything – it's all a culmination, I think. Everything is going to come together. And in my opinion, the only reason that the Patriots signed him was to give Jarrett Stidham a push a little bit.
Really.
Not to kind of put a stick in his back, be like, all right, come on, do something, Jarrett. But, I do think that having Cam Newton is going to push Jarrett Stidham to train harder, maybe watch some more film. Who knows? But if I was in Jarrett Stidham's position, I would definitely be a little not worried. I don't want it to sound like the Patriots are literally pushing him, but I do think that just the presence of Cam Newton, that big personality he has, especially in the locker room, is going to kind of give Jarrett Stidham a little bit of a kick. I think it's going to be good for him, to be honest.
I don't know. I think it'll be really interesting to see. Honestly, I think Cam has been really unfairly, kind of thrown into the fire here because they were 6-2 and one of the best teams in the league when he got that shoulder. I think it all started to go downhill after that shoulder injury. And honestly, they didn't diagnose it like Andrew Luck's at first, but after the second surgery, they compared it to Andrew Luck's. So honestly, after this year off, Andrew Luck took a whole year off. Andrew Luck came back playing well. I wouldn't be surprised if Cam came back and played all right. So I honestly think that he's not getting paid a lot. I don't see why the Patriots wouldn't run with him for a couple games and see what happens. But I do think I don't even know if Stidham starts. I mean, Belichick has been a guy to draft players to play backup and then kind of trade him away after a couple starts. But we'll see. I mean, Garoppolo was undefeated there, and he still got traded. So
yeah, I mean, it's definitely it's going to be different. I mean, I think comparing him to Andrew Luck is definitely a little bit warranted, but they do have different styles of play. Cam Newton
with the injury and the accuracy.
Yeah.
Because Cam Newton, previous to that, I think the new offensive coordinator there was Norv Turner, and his completion percentage was up 12% up to that point.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reason he won MVP. I mean, he's a great quarterback, but I mean, with this foot injury, taking maybe, and even being scared of getting hit on that shoulder again, it's taking a little bit of his mobility away, definitely putting a little bit of fear in his mind. Uh, I just, these injuries, plus the fact that Bill Belichick, I think Bill Belichick definitely believes in Jarrett Stidham. I know that's hard to say because he's done this with so many other quarterbacks. Garoppolo, Hoyer. I mean, there's an entire list of Bill Belichick rejects. But I see a little something different with Bill Belichick and Jarrett Stidham. They didn't draft a quarterback. I mean, they're paying Cam Newton
like nothing.
$550,000. That is the league minimum.
Nothing to lose. He's got nothing to lose. I mean, I feel like a guy with nothing to lose is someone that's going to push Stidham more, if not start. He's a proven player.
I think he can start. I wasn't saying that Jarrett Stidham was going to start. I was just saying that in the long run, throughout the course of the season and the offseason, this is going to give Jarrett Stidham a mental toughness, to instead of just be given this, you have to earn it. And maybe week 5, Cam's not playing too well. Jarrett Stidham comes in, proves himself. I mean, we saw it happen with Daniel Jones.
I mean,
Eli Manning.
Brady.
Yeah, I mean, Tom Brady.
Yeah, Bledsoe got hurt and he came in. And this is the guy that's super injury prone. I would not be shocked if that was the case.
Yeah. It's I'm really this is actually one of the better storylines this season. I really am looking forward to, because I mean we're used to the Patriots with Tom Brady. I'm ready to see some change.
The fact that there's a storyline without the Patriots being involved in like some sort of scandal is just insane.
It's
like
beautiful.
It's the first time in so long. Like Robert Kraft and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Getting jiggy with it and the nail shop, and then he got
getting jiggy with it
and just all that stuff. Just This is the first time the Patriots really been in the news for something that could actually be interesting outside of like Deflategate, a court case, or something.
Yeah, like I 100% agree. This is something
like Tom Brady leaving could be the most exciting thing in New England in the last however long.
I think people need to interchange.
Can I have one? I've had it on work.
It's fine.
But yeah, I think Cam honestly will be a good fit in New England.
Yeah, I agree.
He's got nothing to lose. It depends if his shoulder. I just think the shoulder is what derailed it. I don't think the foot injury, which is what a lot of people are kind of blaming it on. I think the shoulder injury is definitely what kind of.
I think both of them are bad.
Well, the thing with the foot injury was like he only played 2 games with that foot injury, and that was still super inaccurate. Like, I feel like the accuracy what got hurt.
They're both going to be detrimental to his play. I mean,
yeah,
I know the shoulder might be more detrimental, but Cam Newton has always been a runner.
Yeah.
I mean, so
I don't know. I think the running gets more hurt by the shoulder because he stopped running.
I think it's going to take a toll both ways. I think the shoulder's going to affect his throwing, the running is going to affect his mobility, and even the shoulder might affect his mobility and his mental toughness.
Yeah.
All of it together is bad. I mean, his foot isn't something to shrug off. I mean, that happened. And he played – I mean, you can say he only played 2 games, but he played 2 games. I mean, I know he's done it with the shoulder, played 6, but that's still not good. I mean –
none of it's good. I'm just saying I think the shoulder is what started his decline.
Well, yeah, for sure. It happened before. But other than it's all going to come together, and I think that Cam Newton isn't going to be – the guy that leads the Patriots to the playoffs.
I think he'll start the first couple weeks.
I think he'll start possibly, but I don't think he's going to be the guy to finish,
Yeah, if they're eliminated from playoff contention, Jarrett Stidham will go in, or if Cam's just
even if they're not, if Cam's bad, if Cam's injured, there's so many things that can happen. So I'm excited to see it.
All right, and so last, I guess we've got Jamal Adams. Not a whole lot to say, but he does not feel valued with the Jets because they didn't offer him like a new extension in these contract talks. But the Jets came out and said they have no intention of trading Jamal Adams, despite his like trade request type thing where he listed all those teams. I honestly think this is an issue with the management with the Jets. They just got a new GM a year ago. Like literally, I think it was like a year and a month ago, they got a new GM.
Who is their new GM?
It's Joe Douglas, and he was on the staff with the Eagles. So he's only been with the team for a year, and so he's still trying to figure stuff out. And I mean, the Jets have even been quoted saying that they want him to be a Jet for life. I honestly just feel like the Jets have some stuff to figure out. They clearly offended Jamal Adams by ending those contract talks, but they also clearly want him. So they're in
Yeah.
a weird situation. At the end of the day, someone's going to pay him. It's just who is it?
Yeah. Everything. I mean, this is a little bit less about Jamal Adams and more about the Jets, but there is not a single part of the Jets' future besides Sam Darnold that I have any hope for. As long as Adam Gase is their head coach, I don't see them doing anything. Joe Douglas, don't know much about him. What other teams? You said the Eagles.
He was just on the Eagles staff. I'm not necessarily sure what
I
position.
mean, he doesn't sound like this guy has a lot of a track record with great teams.
Not as a GM, no. Well,
Yeah,
I
not
mean,
as
that
a
was
GM.
a team that won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Okay, maybe not the same. But as a GM, he's never really done
This is his
anything.
first gig as a GM. This is his
Yeah.
first one. He's a young guy.
The Jets are – I mean, I don't want to trash on Joe Douglas. Know nothing about the guy. But Adam Gase I know a lot about, and I know he's garbage. He threw Ryan Tannehill's career down the drain. He did nothing but hurt the Dolphins for years. Then he goes ahead and gets a job with the Jets with a promising young quarterback and one of the biggest stars in the league. I don't think that the Jets are going to – and this Jamal Adams is just another case of that. They've mismanaged the whole situation, you know?
Yeah, they can still re-sign Jamal Adams. It's not like it's thrown out of the water, but they clearly upset him.
Yeah.
One thing, I actually just got some news on my phone about the Patrick Mahomes thing. What they're doing this next year is they're adding $28 million to his deal, and then his 10-year extension is going to be worth over $400 million, but they're not certain yet because it's a percentage of the cap. But the lowest that he's with the Chiefs for 12 more years. The lowest it could possibly be is $427.6 million. But if the cap continues to increase like it has, it will certainly be more.
Oh my God, that's got to be one of the biggest sports contracts in general. Not just from a money perspective, but from in general 10 years plus that amount of money.
I mean, really, it's 12 because he's still under contract.
Yeah, he's under his rookie contract. So
I mean, that's crazy because they're also adding money to his existing rookie contract.
Yeah, I think it's insane to be a guy that went from sitting behind somebody to now have an MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, plus 2 years on your rookie contract, plus a 10-year deal worth over $400 million. I mean, the storyline for him is like a rocket. It's crazy.
And he did that thing to his knee and came back quicker than expected.
Yeah, I remember he played the Titans.
All of this, I feel terrible for Alex Smith. Of course, he gets a similar injury, but gets a staph infection, which is decently
so bad
threatening to your entire leg.
To your life, he could have died.
Yeah,
I mean,
staph infections, I don't. It's just tough to. It's tough to look at the Chiefs situation and be like, wow, Alex Smith didn't help at all, but he really did.
I mean, he playoff run. I mean, I know they lost the Titans.
Mahomes was able to see what he did, see playoff atmospheres. I mean, I feel like Alex Smith is a part of this that just kind of gets forgotten, and really a part of the NFL that gets forgotten.
Yes,
with his injury. So I feel really bad for Alex Smith. But
yeah, I mean, Alex Smith never really put anything meaningful together from a winning perspective or playoff success. But
I mean,
he was one of the top quarterbacks in the league in his prime. I mean,
yeah, I mean, he made an NFC championship when they beat the Saints that year.
Yeah, the Vernon
Davis
Davis
catch. The NFC championship. Yeah, I don't remember who they lost to, but they lost.
Well, wait, what year was that?
I don't know.
13. That was 13. Who was the Super Bowl?
I'm not entirely sure.
I guess. Oh yeah, that's weird.
And then Kaepernick, of course, brought him to the Super Bowl. So
yeah.
I mean, he's been on some decently successful teams.
He's been on successful teams, but not as a starting quarterback. I mean,
he was starting. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean,
I feel like that was he had a couple successful years with San Francisco.
He did. He definitely did.
And had playoff wins. I don't know. But yeah, that's kind of been the NFL news for, I guess, really just the last.
It's been really slow. I mean, the NBA got suspended mid through the season, so there's been an explosion of news. I mean, the NFL's been quiet. I mean, it is the summer. There's really never a lot of NFL news.
Well, I mean, normally free agency's picked up by now, and a lot of these guys have been signed, but a lot of them are.
But nobody knows
coronavirus.
Yeah.
They're not really out and about, so we'll probably end up doing a free agency video later on. If you guys have any sort of input on that, I guess throw it in the comments. But yeah, feel free to check us out on Instagram, AP Sports 09, and then on Twitter, AP Sports 8. And we just kind of post like cool Photoshop.
Yeah, we'll put the links in the bio and everything. So
yeah. But yeah, make sure, I guess, check us out on Spotify too. It's the same thing as the YouTube. But yeah, have a good one, and thanks for watching.
all right.